I took a vacation recently to Sun River, Oregon, and I was in search of Bigfoot. A breakfast pastry, not the legendary forest creature. So my family has vacationed in Sun River, Oregon every year for pretty much my entire life, and I love it. It is a haven for outdoorsy folks, and all those who enjoy nature, rafting, bike riding, water slides, wearing swim trunks, croquis, the string thing that attaches to sunglasses so you can hang them around your neck and won't lose them. I don't know, I don't have them, but some do. Tan lines, the breeze between your toes, tasty ice cream that you're willing to wait in a sometimes absurdly long line for. Worth it. Golf, rivers, the sun, and delicious baked goods. More on that last one later. This year I had the dandy pleasure of traveling to Sun River with my family as usual, along with a couple of other loving folks that are very near and dear to my heart. And while I wanted to show them all of the unique things that I love about the place, the outdoors are cool. Sometimes I feel like if I say something in a tone that makes it sound really profound, it will be. Being outside is cool, but it doesn't work. Above all, I wanted to introduce them to a delightful and life-altering assortment of baked goods. There is a bakery in Sun River that conjures up a plethora of brilliantly exquisite bakery items. Just a cornucopia of delightful decadence. One such item is the cream cheese dumpling, an unassuming croissant-like masterpiece. Imagine, if you will, a flaky exterior ruefully betrayed by a doughy center housing a whimsically sweet cream cheese filling. To die for. To die for. As the French would say. I don't speak French, but their culture would have something to say about this. Then, there is the grandmama of baked goods. An original piece concocted by this very bakery many years ago. It pays loving tribute to the Pacific Northwest heritage of Sun River, and can satisfy even the hungriest of breakfasters. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bigfoot. Imagine a giant maple bar that would make you think, that maple bar's too big. Why did they make it that big? And now imagine that this giant maple bar is shaped like a humanoid foot, with 5 toes, a heel, the works. This is the Bigfoot. It comes with your choice of chocolate or maple icing on top, but I've always been more a fan of the chocolate. Now this particular item has had quite a history, and herein lies the dark side of the story. The part that makes me emotional, sad, angry, disappointed, wistful, and maybe even a little nauseous, for reasons I'll never fully understand. This bakery in Sun River has changed hands several times, and some of the owners have decided to keep the baked goods the same, stick with the classics, while others have chosen to mix it up a bit over the years. Originally, the Bigfoot came only with chocolate icing on top, and it was very thick. The reason for this thickness was the treat's greatest secret. It was filled with a vanilla, almost banana-ish flavored custard. I hate the word custard on a personal level, so I generally prefer to call it cream, but to be very clear, this was truly and traditionally a custard filling. This was extraordinary. Just when you had bitten into the sweet doughy goodness and the thick layer of decadent chocolate icing, believing that you had experienced all the joy the Bigfoot had to offer. No, you would then be bombarded by a flood of delicious vanilla/banana custard. Absolutely blowing your mind. Perhaps a more incredible experience even than glimpsing the real Bigfoot among the trees. Though that's a stretch, #bless Bigfoot. For years, young me gluttonously gorged on these treats nearly every morning when I was on vacation. But then one year, I ordered a Bigfoot, same as always, and was given, quite literally, a flatfoot. Not an outdated slang term for a police officer, but rather a Bigfoot that looked too thin. I bit into it, expecting the filling, as usual, and was greeted only with chocolate and sweet doughy bread. No filling. I continued taking bite after bite, expecting to find it somewhere in there, but 'twas not to be. I was heartbroken. I mean, I finished the whole Bigfoot in likely under 90 seconds because I was desperate and hungry, but I was angry about it. And my dad and I soon discovered that the new owners of the bakery had decided to discontinue the filled Bigfoot and make only unfilled Bigfoots. Big feet? I've never been sure about that. This is sort of like saying you want Disneyland to still exist, but just without Mickey Mouse. Or like you want to make another Indiana Jones movie, but this one will focus completely and entirely on the character of Indy's son, Mutt Williams, played by Shia LaBeouf. No offense, Shia. Or you want to make a list of the top teen movies of the 1980s, without including any that starred John Cusack. I mean, it just isn't done. It doesn't make sense. But this is what happened with the Bigfoot. And ever since that day, years ago, I've been forced to eat disappointing, unfilled Bigfoots on every Sun River trip. I mean, nobody forced me, but I have to eat some kind of Bigfoot. Come on. What is this? I don't have a problem. But on this most recent trip to Sun River, I watched the wonder of my two dear companions, one in particular, as they marveled at the visual majesty of the Bigfoot for the first time ever. Completely new to them. And they didn't care that it was thin. They just saw a giant foot donut. They thought to themselves, "My, what humanity hath wrought." In a good way. And to be honest, that opened my eyes. Until then, I had looked down on these new Bigfoots, and frankly, on the current owners of this bakery, for not fulfilling the traditions of my youth. But at that point, I realized it wasn't about holding on to everything from my childhood. It was about looking at things with fresh eyes and appreciating the amazing things that are there and that are still delicious. And I guess that's the lesson here. Sometimes when you try to seek out or recreate some amazing phenomenon from your past, it won't work out quite the way you hope or remember. It may not live up to your expectations. But always remember that life offers new and wonderful joys every day. And it's not always about appreciating the same things in the same way constantly. Often it's about looking at things in a new way and not taking them for granted and appreciating the wonder that exists around you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I better go get started on the 37 Bigfoots that I stockpiled on my trip to Sun River and saved for later consumption. They're probably horribly stale by now, and my arteries and thighs will never be the same, but it'll be worth it. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, honestly? I guess I just described it. I'll catch you later.